Ladies and gentlemen, I call to order the 19th meeting of the Economic and Social Council at its 2014 session.
It's clear that sustainable urbanization is the grandest of the grand challenges we in the world, in the entire world, not just in cities, in the entire world face. We will live or die, we will succeed or fail on the strength of our cities. Cities are key, as we've heard, to energy efficiency, dealing with climate change, ameliorating poverty, promoting inclusive development, growing our prosperity, generating jobs. We have a lot of work to do, and we're not prepared to do it. And I think my main message to this body, and I'm sure Mr. Close will echo this far more profoundly than I will, is that we have to put cities and sustainable urbanization at the very top of this body's agenda moving forward from 2015. If we fail to do that, we will encounter great problems. Now, cities and urbanization promise great things. There is enormous opportunity. Urbanization promises to lift living standards, to create economic opportunity, to raise GDP. But left to its own devices, as the mayor and others have said, it will not deliver the goods. You see, we have this mythology that the world is flat, that urbanization lifts all boats together. No. What's actually happening is that urbanization is lifting the biggest and most well-prepared boats the most, the New Yorks, the Londons, the Parises, across the globe, while other cities come up, but some sink. And then within our great global cities, we see levels of inequality, of socioeconomic segregation that we haven't seen for the past century. Our new economy, our global economy, our technology economy, our knowledge economy, as much as the promise is to lift us up, it is lifting some of us up, but leaving many behind. And that's why, we believe, and many of these myths are important. Cities can save themselves if only mayors had more power, if mayors ruled the world, a book I quite enjoy. But in fact, without the support of the world community and of member nation states, cities and urbanization will not achieve. So I just want to quickly report, and I'm sure Mr. Close will build on this, what we heard at the World Urban Forum in Medellin, where 20,000 of us, 20,000 urban and city leaders and planners from 160 countries met to discuss the future of urbanization from among the globe. What we heard forthright was the need for this body to make sustainable urbanization and cities a centerpiece of the new Sustainable Development Goals. Eugenie Birch, who heads the World Urban Campaign, called for this. She said that cities and all human settlements, both in the advanced and developing world, are critical. They are crucial for us to address all of the problems of climate change, poverty that rich and poor alike face. The Medellin Declaration, which approved and released at the close of the forum, called for a sustainable development goal that promoted urbanization, that promotes comprehensive and participative planning, greater social cohesion, gender equality, balanced land development, more urban resilience to climate change, and safe and affordable transportation. We very much need this goal. You see, I said this. Of all the grand challenges we face, that challenge of climate change, of mitigating natural disaster, of ameliorating poverty, of generating prosperity, of mitigating inequality, they all come down to how strong our cities are. The only way we will move to a model of greater prosperity, more inclusive growth, greater resilience, which to make our cities stronger. And here's the rub. And here's why we have so much work to do. I've been in this field for 25 years. I try to work on and understand global cities. We have no data. Now, you may think that's a simple, small-scale problem. We have no data to compare what works and what's not. For nation states, we have national income accounts, economic input-output tables. We have nothing. So one thing we have to work on, and this body can help so much with, is creating standards and helping to fund the development of systematic and comparable data on the cities and regions of the world. Without that, we have nothing to calibrate against. The training and development infrastructure we need to build. We have a tremendous training and development infrastructure for engineers, for medical doctors and physicians, for heads of state, for parliamentary delegates. We have literally nothing to prepare mayors and civic officials. Yes, we have that in the advanced world, but around the global economy, we have nothing to prepare and train people to take on these challenges. How are we going to make sure we invest in things that work? How will we calibrate this? As was mentioned, We're going to build 60% of our infrastructure over the next 50 years. We're going to spend more trillions of US dollars or euros building cities in the future than we ever have before. We can do that randomly and in an ad hoc fashion, in a very inefficient, suboptimal way, or we can make those investments count. And one of the things that this great body could do to help is by making urbanization, sustainable urbanizations, and cities one of those core goals. Because that would help shape and drive and orient the private investment, the billions and trillions of dollars in private investment, leveraged by the billions and trillions of public investment, so that we can build the best possible cities we can. We can overcome global slums and poverty. We can begin to mitigate inequality. We can start to deal effectively with climate change. We can make sure that so many of our coastal cities are more resilient. But we need to have a plan and a framework. And building that plan and framework, I will submit to you, and creating that goal is the single most important thing we have to do in this coming century. Thank you.
Thank you so very much.